for you.
I open the doors of my heart for you, for you, for you, for you. No matter what happens, these words are true. My heart stays open for you. No matter what happens, these words are true. My heart stays open for you. I open the doors of my heart for you, for you, for you, for you. Oh, I open the doors of my heart for you, yes, for you. I open the doors of my heart for you, for you, for you, for you. No matter what happens, these words are true. My heart stays open for you. No matter what happens, these words are true. My heart stays open for you.
Rain of Dharma raining down and purify my heart and mind. Light of Dharma shining brightly, guide the journey of my life. When the Buddha spoke to me, I hear the voice of truth and peace. As I sit in meditation, I can find my heart release. In unbroken, no the silence, all I feel is loneliness. But then I get that inspiration, and I feel the happiness. Rain of Dharma cooling down and clearing up the morning sky. Gift of Dharma is the pathway, guide the journey of my life. Now the Buddha is my teacher, giving hope and giving light. He has widened my horizon, and I will find a way to rise. The greatest gift's the gift of Dharma. Open up my eyes to see. I can hear my heart delighting. I can rest and I can breathe. In unbroken, no the silence, all I feel is loneliness. But then I get that inspiration, and I feel the happiness. Rain of Dharma cooling down and clearing up the morning sky. Gift of Dharma is the pathway, guide the journey of my life. Gift of Dharma is the pathway, guide the journey of my to me, I hear the voice of truth and peace. As I sit in meditation, I can't find my heart release. And I'm broken, no the silence, all I feel is loneliness. But then I get that inspiration, and I feel the happiness. Rain of Dharma, cooling down and clearing up the morning sky. Gift of Dharma is the pathway, guide the journey of my life. Now the Buddha is my teacher, giving hope and giving light. He has widened my horizon, and I will find a way to rise. The greatest gift's the gift of Dharma. Open up my eyes to see. I can hear my heart delighting. I can rest and I can breathe. And I'm broken, no the silence, all I feel is loneliness. But then I get that inspiration, and I feel the happiness. Rain of Dharma, cooling down and clearing up the morning sky. Gift of Dharma is the pathway, guide the journey of my life. Gift of Dharma is the pathway, guide the journey of my As I sit in meditation, I can't find my heart release. And I'm broken, no the silence. All I feel is loneliness. But then I get that inspiration, and I feel the happiness. Rain of Dharma, cooling down and clearing up the morning sky. Gift of Dharma is the pathway, guide the journey of my life. Now the Buddha is my teacher, giving hope and giving light. He has widened my horizon, and I will find a way to rise. The greatest gift's the gift of Dharma. Open up my eyes to see. I can hear my heart delighting. I can rest and I can breathe. And I'm broken, no the silence. All I feel is loneliness. But then I get that inspiration, and I feel the happiness. Rain of Dharma, cooling down and clearing up the morning sky. Gift of Dharma is the pathway, guide the journey of my life. Gift of Dharma is the pathway, guide the journey. Light of Dharma shining brightly, guide the journey of my life.
When the Buddha spoke to me, I hear the voice of truth and peace. As I sit in meditation, I can find my heart release.
In unbroken, noble silence, all I feel is loneliness. But then I get that inspiration, and I feel the happiness.
Rain of Dharma cooling down and clearing up the morning sky. Gift of Dharma is the pathway, guide the journey of my life.
Now the Buddha is my teacher, giving hope and giving light. He has widened my horizon, and I will find a way to rise.
The greatest gift's the gift of Dharma. Open up my eyes to see. I can hear my heart delighting. I can rest and I can breathe.
In unbroken, noble silence, all I feel is loneliness. But then I get that inspiration, and I feel the happiness.
Rain of Dharma cooling down and clearing up the morning sky.
Gift of Dharma is the pathway, guide the journey of my life.
Gift of Dharma is the pathway, guide the journey of my
gently guide the journey of my life.
When the Buddha spoke to me, I hear the voice of truth and peace. As I sit in meditation, I can't find my heart release.
And I'm broken, know the silence, all I feel is loneliness. But then I get that inspiration, and I feel the happiness.
Rain of Dharma, cooling down and clearing up the morning sky. Gift of Dharma is the pathway, guide the journey of my life.
Now the Buddha is my teacher, giving hope and giving light. He has widened my horizon, and I will find a way to rise.
The greatest gift's the gift of Dharma. Open up my eyes to see. I can hear my heart delighting. I can rest and I can breathe.
And I'm broken, know the silence, all I feel is loneliness. But then I get that inspiration, and I feel the happiness.
Rain of Dharma, cooling down and clearing up the morning sky.
Gift of Dharma is the pathway, guide the journey of my life.
Gift of Dharma is the pathway, guide the journey of my
Good evening, brothers and sisters in the Dharma, Namo Buddhaya. A very warm welcome to Metta Buddhist Fellowship and Johor Gladians Facebook Live. This Facebook Live is being broadcast simultaneously together with the Theravada Buddhist Council Malaysia, the Dharma family in Indonesia, and a few other Buddhist centers in Malaysia here. Hi, I am Didi SK, your host today, and I'll be here together with my co-host, Didi Lina. Now, the gift of Dharma excels all gifts, and today, this is exactly what we are giving, the gift of Dharma. With the launching of this e-book and the hardcover version of this book, simultaneously in Malaysia and Indonesia. We will also be inviting the following speakers to say a few words of the book. Dr. Puna Wong, the author of the book. Didi Tan Huat Chai, director of The Cradle. Bapak Hasono, our Dharma family in Indonesia. And of course, Didi Juseng, our brother, which is the very central figure of why this book is being published. After the launch in Indonesia and Malaysia, Dr. Puna Wong will then do a Dharma sharing on chapter 5 of the book, Breaking the Myth, Religious Faith. Okay, because of the time essence and without further ado, I would like to pass the next sessions to my co-host, Didi Lina.
Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya, brothers and sisters. Let us put our palm together. We begin our puja. Vandana. Homage to the Buddha. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Tisarana, three refuge. Buddhang saranang gacchami. Dhammang saranang gacchami. Sanghang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi Buddhang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi Dhammang saranang gacchami. Dutiyampi Sanghang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi Buddhang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi Dhammang saranang gacchami. Tatiyampi Sanghang saranang gacchami. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
All right, our first speaker, Dr. Puna Wong, is the author of the book that needs no introduction. He has been sharing Dharma frequently in JB, here, Malaysia, and neighboring countries for the past 2 decades. He's a very passionate Dhammaduta and very compassionate towards fellow Dhammafarers. He published his first book, Walking in the Buddha's Footprints, in 2016. I have to mention here that I was very delighted and honored when he asked me to pen the foreword of the book, Breaking Myths. We welcome Dr. Puna Wong.
Namo Buddhaya, and good evening to brothers and sisters in the Dhamma, in Malaysia, Singapore, and Indonesia. Welcome to the launching of this book, Breaking Myths. This book came about because of encouragement by friends and Dhamma family members in the last few months. But it began with just a simple wish to honor and to dedicate merits to a late brother. His father, on the birth anniversary of this young man, was a bit upset. And in the discussion, a humble chit-chat, I proposed that perhaps I could write a book and dedicate it to his memory, dedicating the merits of this Dhamma sharing to this late young man, and that he may be reborn in peaceful conditions with teachers to continue his training. His family was very, very happy, and we began by the wish to make just a simple e-book to be distributed freely, and Sister Siu Yin accepted the challenge of helping me to collect articles that I had written that were scattered over the internet and collate it into a book. The final edition of the book took us more than 10 drafts and many, many late nights to complete. However, it was decided that we should make a physical book as well, as we realized that there were many people who are not comfortable reading a PDF. Hence, this book that you see came into being. And the decision to print a physical book and distribute it free in a time of COVID-19, when the economy is so bad, initially was a hindrance to me. But good Kayana meters from Malaysia, Singapore, and Indonesia supported that decision. And Didi Huachai not only encouraged me to write this book, but also to write book 2 and beyond. And he had this book endorsed by the Theravada Buddhist Council of Malaysia and the Cradle, and the Johor Gladians, a Dhammaduta group of people in Johor who are very active, offered to publish and launch this book. Unlike the earlier book, it was decided that this book will not be formatted and have artwork done by professionals. I made a decision that it should be done by my students to encourage them to print books and to share in Dhammaduta. Hence, this book began like a school magazine, rather amateurish because it was done completely by amateurs. Sister Cheryl Tang did the artwork. Sister Sini helped with calligraphy, and the cover design was by Sister Siu Yin, and the artwork by Brother Adrian. All these were my students. So let us come to why we want to make a book on breaking myths. Now, the Buddha 2,600 years ago taught us a way of life. He did not start any religion. He wanted us to lead a noble way of life. But subsequent generations over the 2 millennium created many religions, rites and rituals, etc., which became formalized as Buddhism. We need to go back to the way of life as taught by the Buddha, a life of loving kindness, compassion, joy and equanimity, of generosity, morality, and mental training. In early Buddhism, some may be shocked to realize that there were no Buddhist statues or symbols, no rites or rituals. It was just a way of life, a straightforward and efficient boat. But with time, we created many boats instead of one efficient one. Such is the situation now that people go window shopping for the yana, for the boat that they like, which fits what they like to do. Now, the Buddha Dharma is actually ideal for the free thinker, for it teaches us to be freed from all cultural bias, from traditions, and even from the holy books. This was clearly stated in the Kalama Sutta. The Buddha taught us to think for ourselves, and only when we find it true, beneficial, leading to peace, contentment, and the good of all, do we follow it. Remember the boat? We had loaded that boat with so much decorations that looks very good, but is otherwise superfluous for this journey. The aim of this book is to help all of us, myself, my family, to go back to that simple book, which is the Dhamma. What do I hope to achieve? If only one person is helped to see the Dhamma, then that goal is already met. And the long hours that Sister Siu Yin and I spent drafting, writing, and rewriting, well utilized. For example, Brother Ju Sing here in the picture was a once-a-year Vesak Day Buddhist, but having seen the truths of life, the beauty of the Dhamma, he is now a highly engaged Dhamma farer and worker. The simple boat. What do we mean by this simple boat? To incorporate Dhamma teachings into our lives, its values, culture, behavior, livelihood, and interests, to uphold honesty and morality, and to abandon the unwholesome ways of life. Mindful living with awareness and discretion, restraint or moderation in our senses, cultivating mental tranquility, calmness, clarity, and purity, and of course, hopefully walking the path to enlightenment. This book, the e-book version, is available for free download. After this launching, we will post the link to all our associated societies, associations, so that you can access this site and download the book for free. Similarly, the text will be available and sent to all our family of Dhamma centers. Now, despite Sister Siu Yin and I doing our best in checking and rechecking, I apologize that there are still errors to be found, which it evidently escaped us. Now, I thank all the people in Malaysia, Singapore, and Indonesia who rallied to support the printing of this book for free distribution. In Malaysia and Singapore, I'm very, very encouraged that the sums that we need to print this book for free distribution was raised within just 24 hours of us making the announcement. Truly, thank you to everyone. And similarly, in Indonesia, this wonderful family of Dhamma Duta workers rallied together, raised the funds, and printed the Indonesian edition of this same book for free distribution. Sadhu to them. Now, from past experience, we had people who said, no, I don't want to take this book for free. I would like to pay something for it. Or someone might say, no, I must pay for the postage of this book. If you think that you will feel better by doing that, subsequently we will post a website to which you can donate. But all that money will go towards the Gladians in Johor Bahru, a group of Dhamma Duta workers who work very hard to share the Dhamma and do charitable work. All money, all sums would go entirely to this group of good-hearted people. To everyone who have contributed to this book, to Sister Doreen of Sukihoto, who helped us so much to make this book professional looking, fitting standards of a standard book, to Brother Bing Chi, who helped us overcome the technicalities of making a cover that the printers could utilize, and to so many people who may be faceless and nameless, but who helped us, I want to say, Sadhu, Sadhu, Sadhu.
Thank you, Dr. Wong. The next speaker is Didi Tan Huat Chai. He's the director of the Cradle, and together with TBCM endorsed the publication of this book. Didi Huachai is also the program designer and lead facilitator for GLAD, Jedi, and Dharma Works. He's on a mission to help our Buddhist community to build and develop future generations and inspiring leaders. His mission, transforming individual, inspiring many. Over to you, Didi Huachai.
Good evening, everybody. Sukihotu to all of you. First of all, I would like to thank Johor Gladian for inviting me over here to say a few words in this important occasion of launching the new book for Dr. Wong, Breaking Myth. And I'm honored to be physically here tonight to witness this important occasion. And I must first congratulate Dr. Wong for coming up with this book called Breaking Myth. Honestly, I admire a lot of his discipline and also his productiveness that he has shown in doing his Dharma Duta work over the years in Malaysia and in the region itself. I must say that he never gets tired of talking. What I mean here is Dharma, and he has always been very productive in terms of writing and for coming up one book after another, which is something that I have a lot to learn from him. And I'm honored to be here to witness his book launch. I hope when my personal book on the Dharma and leadership is out, he will be my special guest for the launch in the future. Now, prior to coming to this launch occasion, I came to know that the Johor Gladians have put in a lot of effort. In fact, the Johor Gladian has put in a lot of effort in the printing, distribution, as well as organizing the entire event for tonight. And they have shown good teamwork, collaboration, and dedication. For that, I must say they are a shining example of all the Gladians in Malaysia itself. We have about 140 over Gladians in Malaysia today. And these Gladians, in fact, have a lot to learn from the Johor Gladian as far as dedication and a sense of mission. And now I think they also have shown to us that, if they have, people have attended the GLAD program, they know one of the important spirit that we need to keep always is why not me? And this has been shown time and time again by the Johor Gladians and also for this special occasion. Now tonight's book launch is very special in many ways, but first of all, I think it's the spirit behind the book itself is about breaking myths. And if we were to go into the life of the Buddha for his 45 years of missions and his missionary work, he spent a lot of time to break myth, to dispel ignorance, and to clarify certain misconceptions. And from the understanding of karma, rebirth, and also caste system, human suffering, and also the power of the Brahma itself, the Buddha have time and time again shown to us that he was trying his best to break the myth and the misconception people have over certain belief and paradigm and mindset. So in the same spirit, this book with 25 myths to break, in fact, was written to debunk many of the beliefs our society have about Buddhism. And actually, I read some of the chapters, the e-copies. I can testify that Dr. Puna's book is both inspiring as well as thought-provoking. And I must say that he's not short of courage to talk about issues, to talk about matters that actually has been misunderstood by the society and the community. So to me, this is a must-read book. In fact, this book is a must-read book. And I have actually decided that as a director of the Cradle, that this book will be a must-read book for all future GLAD participants to come. So I hope they will read the book and they will have better understanding of some of the important beliefs that we need to have. And last but not least, I say tonight is a very special launch because Dr. Puna has also dedicated this book in memory of Cheng Sing Siang, the beloved son of Didi Ju Seng. And we hope with all the merits that have been accrued of the wholesome deeds that we have done in straightening views, and will be unto his onward journey in the spiritual awakening one day. So I'm happy to be here. Once again, congratulations to Dr. Puna for the new book, and I hope every one of us will take the book, but don't just take it, must read it and understand and share with the rest of the people so that more misunderstanding can be clarified. Thank you.
Thank you, Didi Huachai. Okay, the next speaker is Didi Juseng, the Dharma brother figure that is central as to how this book comes about. Didi Juseng is a pillar of the Buddhist community in Johor Bahru and a strong supporter of the Dharma Duta works both locally and nationally. He is on an inspiring why not me journey with the Johor Gladian, generous, loyal, and a true Kalyana Mita for all. Over to you, Brother Juseng.
Namo Buddhaya. I'm Didi Juseng. Now, I first met Dr. Punya Wong at a very, very unusual place. It was during my son's wake. Now, I didn't know him at all, not to mention the deceased. Yet, he conducted Xin Xiang's wake service like he knows us very well. His Dharma sharing that night was simple, yet profound. He even touched on the subject of forgiveness and seek forgiveness from all parties. We were very impressed with that and touched with his compassion. Obviously, that is karuna in action. Now, losing my son gave me immense sadness, immeasurable pain, and roller coaster emotion. I could have easily swayed to the darker side of life if not for Dr. Punya Wong. He patiently and wisely led me to the brighter side of life. I began to attend his fellowship Dharma sharing regularly, thus began to understand what is dukkha, anicca, and anatta, stress, impermanence, and selfless. I began to address him sensei, which literally means teacher in Japanese. Now, sensei did not stop it there. He continues to shower me with metta, loving kindness, gave me hope, and inspired me to walk in the Buddha's footprints. He's surely my true spiritual friend, my Kayanamita, now brother and sister in the Dharma. Sensei has transformed me from a one-day Buddhist to a very active Dharma Duta worker today. My family and I are extremely grateful to him. On behalf of my family, I would like to express my heartfelt yet inadequate thanks to Dr. Punya Wong, my sensei, for dedicating breaking myths in memory of my beloved son, Xin Xiang. May he be reborn in peaceful condition with teachers to continue his Dharma education and progress to awakening. With that, I say, sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Thank you very much, Didi Juseng. A really, truly touching sharing by Didi Juseng. Okay, for the next speaker, we are going to cross over to Jakarta to our Indonesian Dharma family, who are also launching this book, the Indonesian version. We will be crossing over to Brother Hasono Sugianto, who was the Vice President of the Buddhist Fellowship Indonesia, and also the General Secretary of the Dhamma Seka Surya Jaya Foundation for Early Education, and he was the third chairman of the Be Good Foundation for Buddhist Teacher Empowerment, and a member of the Indonesia Professional Speakers Association, a volunteer for, and he is also a volunteer for Bali Usada Health Meditation. Okay, we cross over to Indonesia.
Good evening, Dhamma brothers and sisters in Malaysia, in Indonesia, Singapore, and many other countries that joined tonight's event. Sotihontu Namo Buddhaya. We first met Dr. Wong during the 7th Global Conference on Buddhism held in Jakarta, December 2011. It is his manner, humble manner and simple manner and casual manner that actually leave a very deep impression in our memory. He is the first of the speaker that actually came to us, the frontliner, and expressed his appreciation for our work. Because of this humble manner, Dr. Wong started to visit Indonesia and also started the visit exchange between Malaysia and Indonesia Dhamma family, strengthening our bond through good and bad times until today. In 2016, the Indonesian Dhamma family were granted a very special honor to print Dr. Wong's first book, Following the Footprint of the Buddha. The book consists of 100 essays collected by Dr. Wong through many years of his Dhammadutta work. This year, in 2020, we received another honor to launch the second book, Breaking Myth, together with the Malaysia edition. Even though this is the second book by Dr. Wong, it is the first time that Dr. Wong's book is launched in such an elaborate manner. During the making of this book, we learned many special features that this book carries. It doesn't involve professional in editing, illustration. It is done by Dr. Wong's student in Monash University. It debunks common myths found in us Buddhist devotees, providing us with the right view so we will not fall into the wrong view. But most importantly, like Bapak Juseng just said, book carry a special merit dedicated to his son who passed away in 2016. As the Buddha said to Ananda, Kalyanamitta is the whole holy life. Dr. Wong has been a teacher, a brother, and most importantly, family to us all in Indonesia. So on this opportunity, on this launch night, we would like to congratulate Dr. Wong and team for the launch of this new book. We hope that Dr. Wong, with his casual, humble Dharma practice in everyday life will keep us all inspired. May all beings be happy. Sotihontu Namo Buddhaya. Now, Indonesia again were presented by a very great honor to launch the book first. So, here is what we do, Dr. Wong. This one is dedicated for you. Dr. Wong, this is the book in the form of a cake. We light up the candle as this book will provide a light for us all in Indonesia, and I believe throughout many countries that join the event tonight. And now we will officially handle the book to our brothers and sisters, Sister Jenny, Brother Wirya, and Sister Junia.
Hi, Dr. Wong
Hi, Dr.
and
Wong.
brothers and sisters. Congratulations for the book. We are so happy to get this book and ready to read all insight about the myths. Thank you.
Thank you for providing us the gift of Dhamma. I think it is very useful not only for our generation, but also for our children. We will keep this book for sure. Thank you, Dr. Wong.
Many congratulations, Dr. Wong.
Okay, now the book is officially launched. We will move on to Sister Wendy.
Halo, bisa terdengar ya? Harsono? Oke. Saya berbicara dengan bahasa Indonesia, oke. Selamat malam, Sotihontu for my Dhamma brother and sister in Malaysia, Singapore, and Indonesia. Malam ini malam yang berbahagia karena kita menyaksikan peluncuran buku Breaking Myths yang ditulis oleh Dr. Wong. Selama ini kami di Indonesia mengenal sosok Dr. Wong yang sangat humble dan memiliki dedikasi yang sangat tinggi terhadap Buddha Dhamma. Kami semua sangat bangga terhadap Dr. Wong dengan terbitnya buku ini. Dalam buku ini, Dr. Wong ingin menjelaskan bagaimana banyaknya pandangan salah yang dimiliki oleh masyarakat, khususnya umat Buddha. Sehingga Dr. Wong ingin menjelaskan dengan baik sesuai Buddha Dhamma, membuka wawasan yang baik terhadap kami semua. Proud of you, Dr. Wong. Teruslah berjuang untuk menyebarkan Buddha Dhamma. Dan kami di Indonesia support, mendukung kegiatan yang bermanfaat ini bagi perkembangan Buddha Dhamma. Semoga buku ini menyebar ke seluruh dunia, sehingga banyak orang yang membaca buku ini mendapat pencerahan bagaimana memiliki wawasan benar terhadap kehidupan ini. Love you, Dr. Wong. We are waiting for you to come to Indonesia. Thank you. Sabe satta bhavantu sukhitata. May all beings be happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Back to Brother K for Malaysia launch.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, the Dhamma family in Indonesia, Bapak Harsono, and Sister Wendy, and all the Dhamma family in Indonesia. Next, we will come to the highlight of our Malaysian side of launching of the e-book. Well. Right now the book is officially launched in Malaysia and also in Indonesia. Follow us in Facebook and YouTube, our Metta Buddhist Fellowship, and please write your questions in the Facebook or write the comments in the Facebook as we go along. Like and share our Facebook, the Metta Buddhist Fellowship Facebook. We welcome back Dr. Wong, Dr. Puna Wong. He'll be sharing with us chapter 5 of the book, Breaking the Myth of Religious Faith. Dr. Wong, to you.
Good evening, Namo Buddhaya. This sharing tonight is taken from chapter 5 of this book, and it is with regard to what people call faith. Faith in the Buddha Dharma is certainly not blind. An unquestioning faith is not a feature of the Buddha's teachings. Now we must realize that the Buddha Dharma is an education, and the Buddha aims to transform us to a noble way of life. Buddhism, the religion, was created by subsequent generations of people. If we look at the dictionary, a religion is described as an organized system of beliefs, rites, and celebrations centered on a supernatural being or power, a belief which is pursued with devotion to this being. Now, the ideal state for the student of the Buddha Dharma is that there is nothing to believe in. For the student of the Buddha Dharma must know for himself or herself. When people take refuge in theistic religions, they take refuge in an external power, thinking that an external power will save them, bail them out, etc. When we take refuge in the Buddha Dharma and Sangha, we are not taking refuge in any external power. We are taking refuge in wisdom, the wisdom to know what to do. So the teachings of the Buddha Dharma, is firstly not a religious faith, because firstly the Buddha is not a supernatural being in the way that most people think. He is a man who perfected himself, and he is all natural. He is a man who developed complete understanding of the workings of the mind and the realities of life and nature. And because he is a man who perfected himself, then we too can perfect ourselves, guided by his teachings. The Buddha is not a god or a deva for one to believe in. The Buddha is a teacher who teaches us the way to wisdom and understanding, and in the process, letting go of greed, hatred, and ignorance which blinds us. If there is an indicator of how much we, his students, had progressed, it is that in looking within ourselves, we will see our cravings, our ego, and our conceit will progressively lessen as we walk this path. The Buddha, at the very apex of the evolution of the mind, has no need for praise or offerings or devotion, because he has no desire, no ego, or conceit. The Dhamma that the Buddha taught for 45 years is education. And in fact, the only miracle that the Buddha accepts is the miracle of the transformation of a person from a not so wholesome human being to a wholesome or noble human being. The Dhamma is basically the psychology and the science of the human mind. It is the teachings of the Buddha which illuminates the path to our awakening from many delusions, including the delusions of self, ego, pride, conceit, I, my, and mine. The very first verse in the Dhammapada says, if with a pure mind a person speaks or acts, happiness follows him like his never departing shadow. The first and second verse talks of a pure mind and an impure mind. The impure mind, then dukkha or unhappiness or stress will follow him like the wheels which follow the bullock. These two verses were the very verses which brought me into the Buddha Dharma. It does not speak of an external force that we praise or bribe. It speaks of our own self. It says that if you want to have happiness, then you act with a pure mind. And if you do things with an unwholesome mind, then don't blame anybody when disease and stress follows us. This brings the entire ability to change our future into our own hands, not into the hands of another being, an external force, a god or a deva, but into our own hands. Secondly, his teachings do not constitute a religious faith, because faith in the Buddha's teachings is not blind, and unquestioning faith is in fact discouraged, and the way of the Dhamma is far from superstition. The Buddha is a teacher who taught us that whatever he teaches us, we must verify for ourselves before we accept it. He taught a group of monks, and the Venerable Sariputta, his chief disciple, was seated at his feet. At the end of his discourse, he asked the Venerable Sariputta, "Do you believe in what I just said?" And the Venerable Sariputta replied, "No, Lord, until I have verified it myself." Now, any other teacher would have thrown the student out, probably excommunicated him. But the Buddha, in fact, praised the Venerable Sariputta. He has the right attitude, and that is the attitude all of us must have, of questioning, asking, and seeing for ourselves. We can well reject any superstition as not the teaching of the Buddha. And the Buddha demands that we use our common sense, our direct experiential evidence, and see for ourselves. If I were to tell you that you have 2 hands and 2 feet, and you believe me, that is faith. But if you look yourself and see that you indeed have 2 hands and 2 feet, then you do not need to have faith in me, neither do you need to believe me, for now you know. This is exactly what the Buddha wanted us to have. See for ourselves all the core teachings that he has taught us and verify it. The Buddha wants us to know, and this is the principle of ehipassiko. Come and investigate and experience for yourself. This is the scientific basis of his pedagogy. So when we say faith within the Buddha Dharma, confidence in the Buddha's teachings would be a more appropriate description, as we can verify these lessons directly ourselves. Thirdly, the Buddha's teachings do not form a religion because initially there were no rites and rituals for lay people. However, because of human needs, much man-made rites and rituals evolved to be practiced in the name of Buddhism. But even these are not centered on the divine being, but rather on and for the people attending the assemblies. The 5 precepts, for example, they are entirely secular moral precepts which we recite to remind ourselves of the red lights that could possibly give us danger should we race across it. Puja. Many people think puja means to pray, But puja doesn't mean to pray. Puja means, more closely in English, to honor someone. And we do pujas to pay our respect to a great teacher. And these have an educational purpose because it reminds us of the noble qualities of the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. And hence, understanding what we chant is very, very important. We should not just parrot the words, but understand it. That is crucial. Now, the Buddha doesn't need us to praise him. These that we do are for us. And in fact, the Buddha clearly stated that the highest honor to him is not material offerings, not offering of fruits or flowers or candles, but we, his students, living the life that he taught us, living a morally wholesome life and following what is taught in the Dhamma as applied to our daily lives. Being imperfect, unenlightened beings, we naturally need these rites and rituals for psychological support and also for communal activities. However, as one progresses on the path, its importance progressively diminishes. And instead, that light within, that spiritual light within, that wisdom of the Dhamma becomes brighter and brighter. The student of the Buddha Dhamma has only one aim, the end of greed, hatred, and ignorance, and this leads to true happiness. There is no leap of faith and no dogma in the Buddha's pristine teachings. You and I can question every teaching. We can ask why for everything that is taught to us. And what the Buddha taught is reality, which any one of us can verify even by ourselves. And the Buddha in fact challenged all of us to see for ourselves and not take even his words on faith. O bhikshus and the wise, just as a goldsmith tests his gold by burning, cutting, and rubbing it, so must you examine my words and accept them, but not merely out of reverence. His teachings are priceless gems which anyone can confidently verify for himself. There is no closed fist, no secret. The Dhamma is available for all of us to see. And in this time and age of the information technology, at the click of your button to Sutra Central, for example, the entire canon is available. And while there may be 84,000 Dhamma teachings as described by the Venerable Ananda, let us remember that the core teachings of the Buddha is very simple. In Chinese, we often say, 84,400法门, 84,000 Dhamma doors. In the Theragatha, the Venerable Ananda said, 82,000 taught by the Buddha, 2,000 by his disciples. But let us remember that within these 84,000 Dhamma doors, the very heart of it, the very core of it, is 8 for the Eightfold Path, 4 for the Four Noble Truths, and 000 representing the 3 characteristics of impermanence, unsatisfactoriness, and not self. These are the core teachings of the Buddha. This is what we need to know, we need to apply in our daily lives. Let us study the Dhamma. Let us apply the Dhamma and not worship the Dhamma. Let us move away from superstitions and use our logic. The Buddha told the first 60 Arahants who went out to share the Dhamma, you and I, he said, are now freed from all human and divine bondage. The Buddha said, we are now freed. You are freed when you understand the Dhamma, not just from human bondage, but also from divine bondage. Let there not be superstition. Any woman can be equally enlightened, Any woman can clean the Buddha image. Any woman can wash and tidy the altar. All these superstitions are human bondages which the Buddha wanted us to realize is not true. Always remember that what the Buddha taught us, the Dhamma, is the raft for which we use to progress. It is the raft for us to lessen pain and suffering, to lessen greed, anger, hatred, to lessen conceit, pride, and ignorance. It is the vehicle. We use a vehicle. You don't pray to a vehicle. It is not another object of pride and division for us to say, only I am right, you are wrong, only my lineage is right, your lineage is wrong, etc. Sad things within the Buddhist community. Let us go back to the Dhamma, go back to what the Buddha taught, and realize that there is only one path, the Buddhayana, the path which leads us to less pain, less suffering, less dukkha. With the setting of the sun and the ebbing of the tide, with the relentless march of time, ask ourselves, what have we done? How much time do we have left today? Look at our hair. There's not much of it left. Let us make full use of our time, full use of our opportunities, learn and practice the Dhamma. Thank you. Thank you to all who have contributed to this book. Thank you to all who encouraged me. Thank you to all my Kayana meters in Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia. As I posted this morning, I am nothing but the spiritual friends who support me. I don't have any resource other than spiritual friends who say, please go on, we will support you. To all my Kayana meters, you are my Buddha. When I look at you, I see the Buddha. I see that shining light within you. And I want to take this opportunity to say thank you. I want to take this opportunity to say sorry for all the things I might have done which might have offended you. I want to thank you all for supporting this Buddha Sasana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Okay, we come to the question and answer session. If there's any question and can you please post in the Facebook, and we will then read out to the speakers here today. I have to start. I have one question in which I would like to direct the question to both the speaker, Dr. Puna Wong and Didi Huat Chai. I think it's the same question, but I think probably the two of you can have a different answer to that. Maybe we'll start with Dr. Puna Wong. In doing Dhamma Duta work, especially when we are doing alone, there are many obstacles and we met many complaints. And sometimes because of that, we face the obstacle that we face, our faith will weaken. Our energy will be snapped off. How can we overcome this? Maybe we start with Dr. Wong.
Thank you, Didi. Now, the Buddha was asked about the spiritual life by the Venerable Ananda. The Venerable Ananda felt that half the spiritual life is noble spiritual friends. And the Buddha corrected him and said, no, Ananda, spiritual friends are the entire spiritual life. Because spiritual friends encourage us to keep to the noble path, raise us up when we are down, and drag us when we fall into unwholesome states. I think it is very important that a community be present for us to do such work, because being alone, as Brother SK said, one can sometimes be discouraged when people put up hindrances or pass very hurtful remarks. Unless one is very strong spiritually, with a mind that is very calm, literally ru ru putong, a mind that is unaffected by negative remarks and emotions, i.e. a mind that is very highly trained, I fully agree that it can be difficult and it can in fact be discouraging. So I think that it is very important that first there must be a strong foundation within ourselves, that we understand the Dhamma clearly, and that we have a degree of calmness within us so that we are less affected by such negative remarks or comments or texts, and then we proceed. And every time we need help, do not be shy to voice it out to our Kalyana-mitas. The world is so connected today that it is hard to believe that there is somebody who is truly alone. Because even though another friend or supporter may not be physically in the vicinity, we are connected by the internet, by WhatsApp, etc. So I think that this would help the problem of being discouraged. A communal activity where one meets face to face and share the Dhamma with each other, of course, is the ideal. But sometimes in this era of COVID-19, for example, that may be a little difficult. Thank you very much.
Can we hear the sharing from Didi Huat Chai?
It's a very good question about doing Dhammaduta work and get discouraged. I think I've been doing Dhammaduta work for the last 40 over years, and I must say it's not an easy task to do Dhammaduta work. It takes a lot of energy, and people suck the energy away from you. You have to keep building new energies to do your Dhammaduta work. But for those people who are keen to do Dhammaduta work, I have 3 words to share with you. First, it's called passion. We must have passion for the Dhamma. The Pariyati, Patipati, and Pativeda, these 3 things will boost out our passion for the Dhamma. You learn the Dhamma, you practice and you realize the Dhamma. The second word I want to say for anybody who wants to do Dhammaduta work is called motivation. This motivation comes through the inspiration we get by learning the life of the Buddha, of his 45 years, of how he has reached out to the people who needs. The Buddha did not preach, the Buddha reached out to people. And that gives a lot of inspiration, which I call motivation, to do Dhammaduta work. And the last word is called mission. We can't do Dhammaduta work if we don't have a strong sense of mission. The issue with a lot of Buddhist community today, in a lot of Buddhist society, they are running activities. They are not doing with a sense of mission. So if we have passion, if we have motivation inspired by the Buddha, and we have a sense of mission, I think no matter what happens to us, we'll always find a lot of inner peace, a lot of inner energy to continue to do our Dhammaduta work. So that's my little sharing with you about, if you want to continue to do Dhammaduta work, don't be discouraged. If you look at it from the other bigger perspective, there are maras everywhere trying to discourage us to do good, to do things which benefits a lot of people. But we must not be afraid of our direction and our mission. Yeah.
Thank you, Didi Huat Chai, for the sharing. I just like to make an announcement that the ebook link has been posted in the comment section of each group. So if you need to download the ebook, just go to the link and download it. Now, my next question here it will be to Dr. Puna Wong. Breaking myth 25. Where do we go from here?
Breaking myths 25. We actually started with 10 articles. And from 10 articles, it went to 20 articles, and then 25 articles. And then I said, okay, I think I should stop. And then I met Didi Huat Chai at a dinner, and he said, no, there must be a book 2 and a book 3. Now, I will be very honest. It takes a lot of work. Sister Siwin and I have spent countless hours reading, rereading, checking, rechecking, because we had to ensure that what we write is first and foremost correct, and second, that there are no errors in our typo. And I think it will give us great encouragement if people are to read the book, put a line in our Facebook or somewhere that we can see it, and then we will find the strength to go on. When I mentioned to Sister Siu Yin about book 2, her reaction is an icon which goes like that, because it truly is a lot of work. And as I said earlier, we are very grateful to Sukihoto. Sukihoto is a great organization in Malaysia that has been so supportive, and Sister Doreen had gave us a lot of advice on how to make that book a proper book, because we don't know what a proper book is like. Our arrangement, sequence, etc. was very amateurish, like a school magazine, as I said. And it was indeed a good experience, because from this we learned how to do it. Breaking Myths, Book 2. Give me a month break at least, and then we will continue.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Wong. You stay back because the next question is directed to you. Some Chinese believe that the 7 days after death, the spirit soul of the deceased will return to his or her home. Is this mere superstition, or is there a scientific parapsychological basis for this? Any mention of this in the Buddha's teaching?
Okay. Dhamma brothers and sisters, there is a need for us to appreciate the difference between Dhamma, what is taught by the Buddha, and culture, and our own Chinese traditions, of course. If we are following the Buddha Dhamma strictly, then in the Buddha Dhamma, there is no mention of a 7-day or a 49-day. However, it appears in the Buddha Dhamma that there seemed to be an intermediate state even within the Pali Canon. The doctrine of immediate rebirth comes from the Abhidhamma and also as a conclusion of the Third Buddhist Council. But if we look within the Pali Canon, there are snippets whereby it is in fact implied that some people will have an intermediate state and that rebirth may not be instantaneous. That, of course, is a topic which is too big to be discussed tonight in a question and answer session. 7 days or 49 days is very cultural. The Chinese have it, the Thais also believe in it. Now we must remember that we are conditioned beings. Our future is conditioned in a way by our thoughts, our beliefs, what we are attached to, our upadanas. So we become, in many sense, what we are attached to. So if you are very attached to in your life that I'm going to come back on the 7th day or 49th day or whatever in your culture, then you jolly well may, because that is what you have created your future to be. But if you ask me in a true or false multiple choice question, is this in the Buddhist canon, in the Pali canon, then I will have to say no. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Wong. There's another question. Should Buddhist followers be vegetarian? Is there any mention in the Buddha's teaching? Dr. Wong?
All right, this is a very good question, and a question which is raised to us many times in Dhammadutta work. Now we must first bring all of us back 2,600 years ago. 2,600 years ago in Northeast India, society is basically very agrarian. It was a society where people live off the land, traders would take what the farmers grow and sell. And the Sangha will go on the morning alms round, accepting what is offered by the householders. Now, this was the practice, the Buddha said, not just by him, but by all the Buddhas even before him. And the Venerable Devadatta was the one venerable who actually proposed to the Buddha that the Sangha must follow a strict vegetarian diet, to which the Buddha actually declined. The Buddha did not want to make that a Vinaya rule. In his great wisdom, he probably thought it inappropriate because there might be situations where no vegetarian food may be available. And the Buddha said that the monks will accept whatever the householders offer in the morning alms round. If they so wish not to eat meat, that's their personal choice. They just don't eat it, that's it. Now, there is a discourse with the name of Jivaka Sutta. Jivaka was the Buddha's personal physician, and Dr. Jivaka actually did discuss this with the Buddha. This is well documented, and the Buddha gave us guidelines. Now, in Buddhism, everything is relation to the training of the mind. The Buddha gave guidelines to the Sangha. In Chinese, it became known as the San Jing Rou, the 3 pure meats, in which the Sangha cannot eat the meat of an animal if the Sangha had seen, for example, that animal being slaughtered, because then it would have a big impact on their mental makeup, negatively. Similarly, even if the Sangha is to suspect that the householder intentionally killed that animal for him, then that Sangha member is to politely decline by putting his hand above the alms bowl. That, of course, also refers to the possibility that if he consumes that meat, he may feel guilty. So if he has seen it, or heard it, or suspect it, then he should decline. Other than that, the householder, when they offer whatever is excess in their household to the bhikkhus or bhikkhunis, they are to accept it with gratitude. As I said earlier, we are all at different levels of cultivation. Many of us still need rites and rituals. Some do not need rites and rituals. A Sotapan might even see it as a fetter. Similarly, with regards to dietary manners, if a person feels guilty that he or she should not take meat for whatever reasons, health reasons, or if he thinks that because that animal has to be killed for him, then by all means, don't eat, because it is the effect on our mind state which is important. But for someone who says, no, I think it's all right, then he can buy it off the supermarket, buy it off the shelf, but certainly it should not be killing a live animal for himself. All right, thank you.
On the same question, can we have Didi Huachai to give his comment?
Vegetarianism is a very interesting topic in Buddhism, and there's a lot of misconception that a Buddhist must strictly be a vegetarian. I think if we follow the life of the Buddha, we know in many instances the Buddha did not impose that Buddhists must be a vegetarian. The question always asked in our community, especially among the Chinese and the Chinese Buddhists, is because they tend to associate Buddhism with vegetarianism. But to me, we have to understand the cultural development and the religious development across the years. So when Buddhism went over to China at that time, and Buddhism started to have a lot a strong footing in China, and a lot of them became monks, and monastery was built over a period of time. And because of that, you find that, when, in fact, Buddhism was flourishing in China, and the monks, they could not get the kind of food that they can get when they are in India, for example. The Indians are very different from the Chinese. The Indians will give any food to any holy man, but the Chinese may not necessarily want to do that, especially for monks. They look at, sometimes they even treat them as if they are beggars and things like that. So the monks, as they grow in numbers in China, they have difficulty of finding food. And as they stay in monastery, they cannot be rearing chickens and other animals and slaughter and eat. So the only sensible thing for most of the monks at that point in time is to plant vegetable, beans, and fruits and whatever that they can plant and eat. And that's why in Chinese there is a proverb at that time, it's called 僧多粥少. A lot of monks, but not enough porridge for them. That proverbs come in a time when Buddhism was flourishing in China. So when the monks were basically practicing what they practice, and the food that they eat basically are vegetarian based. And in China in those days, the temple and monastery doesn't open 24 hours and every day. They only open in a certain period of time. And normally in the new moon and full moon period, the temple and monastery doors are open for lay devotees to go in. And that's where a lot of lay people start to know, oh, 初一十五吃斋. It's because that's the time culturally they went over to the monastery and they were treated well by giving those food prepared by the monks. And they are all vegetarian food. And that's how basically our forefathers, when we came from China over here, we start to associate, vegetarianism and Buddhism. But actually it's a lot more. You have to understand the cultural development over the years as Buddhism go over to China. So I think we have to be very clear. But if you go into the life of the Buddha did not impose that all Buddhists should be a vegetarian. Of course, if you want to do that for various reasons of cultivating your compassion, by all means do so. Yeah.
Okay, Didi Huachai, there's one question here. As a Dhammaduta, how do we deal with people who are superstitious and mistaken it to be part of Buddhism? I believe they are talking more of the some of the wrong faith, the wrong blind faith.
Another good question. I think the reason we Buddhists do Dhamma outreach, or we call Dhammaduta, is not because we want to convert people. Within the Buddhist community itself, within the Malaysian Buddhist, so-called Buddhist community itself, there are many misconceptions about Buddhism. And I think our role as Dhamma outreach missioners, we should be there to basically clarify a lot of these misconceptions. As what Breaking Myths book, the purpose of writing that book is by Dr. Puna is basically to clarify some of these issues. And I think being a Dhammaduta, that's what we need to do, is not to convert people, but to clarify some of these misconceptions. And that's why we're doing Dhammaduta work. It's not because we are out there to see how many people we can convert to become Buddhists.
Okay, thank you very much, Didi Huachai. Thank you very much. All right, there, brothers and sisters, we have come to the end of our session today. Today we have witnessed launching of the Dhamma book. We have heard some inspiring words from the speakers, and we also have heard the Dhamma sharing from Dr. Puna Wong and also from Didi Huachai. It has been a meritorious and joyful session. And with this, we would like next to do the dedication of merits, in which I'll pass on to my co-host Didi Lina.
Namo Buddhaya. Sebelumnya, Namo Buddhaya. Sebelumnya, ribuan terima kasih kepada Dhamma Brothers dan Sister yang berada di Indonesia. Terima kasih karena berpartisipasi dalam acara malam ini. Sekarang kita akan membuat sharing of merit. Let us now we do the participate with the sharing of merits. Punya Modana, sharing of merits. Akasata cabumata Dewa Naga Mahidika Punyang tang anumoditwa Cirang rakhantu sasanang, cirang rakhantu desanang, cirang rakhantu mang parang, etawata ca amehi, sang padang punya sang padang, sabe dewa sabe sata sabe buta anumodantu, sabasang patisidia. Patidana, transference of merits to departed relatives. Idang menyatinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idang menyatinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idang menyatinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Patana, aspiration. Imina punya kamena mame bala samagamo, satang samagamo hotu yawani bana patia. Sadu, 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 sabe sata suki hontu, Buddha sasanang cirang titantu.
Thank you. Thank you very much, brothers and sisters. Our session here today is end, and I hope that everybody will stay safe, stay kind, and good night, everyone. See you.
Rain of Dharma, cooling down and clearing up the morning sky. Gift of Dharma is the pathway, guide the journey of my life.
Now the Buddha is my teacher, giving hope and giving light. He has widened my horizon, and I will find a way to rise.
The greatest gift's the gift of Dharma. Open up my eyes to see. I can hear my heart delighting. I can rest and I can breathe.
In unbroken, noble silence, all I feel is loneliness. But then I get that inspiration, and I feel the happiness.
Rain of Dharma, cooling down and clearing up the morning sky.
Gift of Dharma is the pathway, guide the journey of my life.
Gift of Dharma is the pathway, guide the journey.
journey of my life.
When the Buddha spoke to me, I hear the voice of truth and peace as I sit in